Hello and welcome to the Inspired Beatles. When I first heard the Beatles many years ago, my reaction was something like this kid's first experience of ice cream. After that, I got my hands on anything I could, including The Beatles at the BBC, which is a bunch of radio recordings they did in the early 60s. The audio quality is not always great, but there's a lot of gems and a ton of cover songs. So for this video, I thought it might be fun to compare side by side the Beatles covers with the original artists. So here we go. The collection starts off with a classic.
Oh yeah, say I got a woman way over town.
Few people have vocal chops like Ray Charles. Isn't that right?
Oh yeah, she give me money when I'm in need. Oh yeah, that's my baby, but you understand.
And few bands can let loose, like the Beatles. Isn't that right, Johnny?
Oh yeah.
Both versions of this song are pretty cool, but different beats.
You'll never feel in the meal, yeah, come a rotten bill. Too much monkey business, too much monkey business, too much monkey business, too much monkey business for me to imbibe again.
Okay, on this one, the Coasters version has a lot more swagger.
I saw her standing on the corner, a yellow ribbon in her hair.
If you ever wondered why the Beatles did those cartoon antics in between the verses, it's because they were in the original.
Look at there.
Look at there.
Look at there.
Look at that.
Young blood. Young blood. Hey, young blood. I can't get you out of my mind.
I always savored a shot of rhythm and blues.
Start to swing and sway when a band starts to play a real cool and way out sound. And if you get
I can't help it when you can't sit down. You feel like you gotta move around. You get a shot of rhythm.
Okay, here's the song, Keep Your Hands Off My Baby. And in the original, listen to these angelic vocals. They loved Carl Perkins and did a lot of his songs, but what's interesting is that they never seemed to play the tempo exactly the same as he did.
I'm sure to fall in love.
I'm sure to fall in love.
This middle bridge really showcases when Paul's voice is like melted butter.
So hold me tight, let tonight be the night, darling.
Okay, this is one of my favorites. It's hard to explain the mojo on this. It just has that interesting edge on it. And I know I'm in the minority, but of the hundreds of Beatles songs recorded, this is in my top 10. It was one of their favorites, and when it came time to have their first television appearance, this was their pick.
Some other guy now, take all my love away from me. Come now, some other guy now.
I think it captures that anguish that John had, and it just has that tough drive. This is one of the earliest rock songs by Arthur Crudup.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right now, mama.
That's better than all right. Here's another guy who covered it.
Well, that's all right, mama. Just any way you do it, that's all right.
He has such an unpredictable and slippery voice.
That's all right now, mama. Any way you do. Well, mama, she done told me. Papa done told me too.
This is definitely one that would have been great to see them live.
I'm gonna sit right down and cry over you. I'm gonna sit right down and cry over you.
This guy, he's just always percolating.
And if you ever say goodbye, if you ever even try, I'm gonna sit right down and cry over you. I'm gonna love you more and more every day. I'm gonna love you more and more.
Lay down your arms and surrender to me. Lay down your arms.
On this next song, Clarabella, again, we have a big difference on the rhythmic style. You don't typically think of Buddy Holly as an energetic guy, but listen to this.
Crying, waiting, hoping you'll come back. Maybe someday soon things will change and you'll be mine.
Now, because of YouTube's 8-second limit, I can't play the whole 30-second solo, but check this out. If you're a guitarist, give this a shot. There's a lot more to it than it sounds like. George is not just playing this perfectly live, but he's also the writer. You might wonder why they did this song, but it's because of some very Beatlesque chord changes. You can hear some changes like this in songs John would write later, such as This Boy. This is a lesser-known track called The Honeymoon Song, and it has an Italian vibe it's just too hard for the Beatles.
I never knew that a day like today life is forever. I've got the sun in my heart and my heart's in the song.
Skies are as bright as your eyes, the horizon is open. Love is the ceiling, feelings are reeling.
And now, a song, Immortal.
Who never ever learned to read or write so well, but he could play a guitar just like a ring in a bell. Go, go. Oh, Johnny.
Many bands would play these epic A-side hits of the record, but the Beatles would generally prefer the B-sides. So there's no official studio version of the Beatles doing Johnny Be Good. And it's too bad. But at least we have this. I think Chuck Berry was trying to do a version of the Bo Diddley rhythm, and he did a pretty decent job. Don't think the Beatles could quite get it.
The small boy took the message and wrote it on the wall. The last time I saw Marie, she was waving me goodbye.
Both versions of these are great. This is the version that became popular, but it was Eddie Cochran's cover that was the inspiration for the guitar bits. And in the early days, it was his image they emulated. As is common, George cleans up the solo and makes it a lot tighter, more danceable. And I have no idea what the Beatles were thinking when they picked this.
Baby, 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 blues and sorrows and a love for tomorrow seem to suit you just fine.
Well, baby, 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 blues or sorrow, I love you tomorrow, just suit you just fine. I can't forget that you told me.
I'm finding out what love is all about.
'Cause all it's shaking but the leaves on the tree.
If you get a chance, you might enjoy the full solo on this. It's really cool. Most people know the song Hippie Hippie Shake from the British invasion band the Swingin' Blue Jeans. But the original was done by this guy, Chan Romero. And I love this intro.
For goodness sake, I got the hippie hippie shake. Woo! I got the shake. Woo! Make me shake. Woo!
The Carl Perkins version is more sprite.
Ain't no doubt about it, it must be love. One little kiss from you and I feel fine all over. Ooh.
You probably haven't heard this song before, but it has a cool sway.
Will you call me your baby when you're holding my hand?
But the way that you hurt me.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Everly Brothers.
They say that everyone
In the US Billboard charts, they had so many hits, but it's a wonder why this one didn't make it further.
so how come no one needs me?
And they say that everyone needs someone. So how come no one?
It's not often that you prefer the Elvis cover over Elvis.
I forgot to remember to forget her. I forgot.
Great beat on this one. So we had Paul doing Elvis, John doing Elvis, and now George.
I can't seem to get her out my mind. I've got to find my baby. I declare I wouldn't lie. Had no real good loving since that woman said goodbye.
I like both of those. In that last one, you can hear the fast rhythm guitar triplets that John would later make famous with the song All My Lovin'. And here's Little Richard, who's normally awesome, but This is horrible. Beatles destroy it.
My soul. Baby, baby, baby. Don't you know my love is true? Honey, 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 honey.
One of the things I really love about the Beatles version is how Ringo uses his regular shuffle beat, but with delayed syncopated snare hits, which he did a lot on the BBC records. Gives it a kick.
Oh, my soul. Well, baby, baby, baby. Don't you know my love is true?
I think this song, Please Don't Ever Change, was chosen because it has those spicy, augmented chords that the Beatles loved. They sound like this. They allow you to do cool things with the melody and then make for more interesting harmonies.
But please don't ever change. No, don't you ever change. I kinda like you just the way you are.
This is a great Chuck Berry song.
She's so fine, you know, I wish she was mine. I get shook up every time we meet. I'm talking about you.
The only notable comment here is that this is the tune from which Paul nicked the bass line for I Saw Her Standing There. You'll hear the similarity, especially because the Beatles rendition is in the same key.
She's so fine, oh, wish she was mine. I get shook up every time we meet. I'm talking about you.
The Beatles totally improved this next one, Lend Me Your Comb.
Lend me your comb. It's time to go home. Gotta confess.
My hair is a mess. Your mommy was scold. Your pappy was shy.
So that's it. Thanks for coming along. To end this video, I want to compare that song we just heard with a rare homemade tape made of the Beatles when they were in a pub in Germany before they became famous. Just to give you a flavor of the difference between the commercial and how much more loose they were with informal environments. There's a much more wonderful aggressiveness. So to close us,